All right. So, I guess I should do some sort of welcome to the Black Foxes. We are doing these Black Present History in the Making talks, and I'm really excited to be here talking with Maize and Azyra today. But I'm going to let them introduce themselves because nobody knows them like they know themselves. So, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. My name is Maize Wimbush. I've been riding since I was 7, racing since I was 9, and I am now 14. I'm about to turn 15 in March. Um, I am in ninth grade, and I take cybersecurity as like a CTE program. And yeah, Azyra, your turn.
So I'm Azyra Franklin. I'm 14 years old. I'm be 15 in July. I learned how to ride a bike when I was 8 and racing since I was 9. And I like to draw a lot.
Cool. So you're in cybersecurity? Is this like a high school offering?
Yeah, so when I was in 8th grade, I applied to like the best public school in our county. So I got in and I applied to the cybersecurity program.
What interested you about cybersecurity? Security? It feels so random. Were you
I don't
watching
know.
like
It was
24?
no. So actually, like, I really was uneducated about it. Like, it was a last minute decision. I was looking at the decisions I had to apply for, and I'm like, I don't seem interested in any of them. And my parents explained to me what cybersecurity was, and I was like, oh, that sounds just like me. And I applied to it and I got in.
Okay. And Azara, you said you really love to draw. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, I want to be an artist when I grow up. So I've just kind of developed an addiction over the years. Like I have a bunch of sketchbooks just laying around the house that I've just filled out.
Do you like what kind of drawing do you do? Is it more like illustrations, like anime? Like what's your style?
Well, I'm learning how to do realism.
Nice. So like portraits or landscapes or anything specific?
Like kind of like landscapes and stuff.
That's pretty neat. All right. So I invited y'all because you're both bike racers. And I think that's pretty cool. I don't know a lot of youth bike racers, but I know of you two. I've been following both of you probably somewhere along the lines of not too far after you started racing. So if you're 14, that means I probably started following you guys when you were around 10, I think. So you were experienced bike racers by the time I found you, but still quite early in your journey. So I guess we'll start with Maze. How did you get into bike racing? Like how did this happen at such a young age?
So I think I was around maybe late 5 and 6. My dad, he would go riding like every Wednesday, I think, and on the weekends. And he would come back home. I would be standing at the door waiting for him to get in the door. Can I please ride with you guys? And he would be like, no, we're riding too fast. We're averaging 16 miles per hour. You can't hang with us. Da-da-da. Like, he would just go on, and I would ask him like almost every week. So on my 7th birthday, he got me my first road bike, and from there on, it's history.
You remember what kind of bike it was?
Yes, a black and green felt. Actually, Azyra's brother has it now.
Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. How about you, Azara? How did you get into it?
So the funny thing is, when I was younger, I actually wanted nothing to do with a bike.
Uh-oh.
Like, I was pretty lazy. And then when I turned 8, my brother started learning how to ride a bike. He was like 3 or 4 at the time. And I was pretty competitive. And I was like, there's no way he's going to learn how to ride a bike before I am. And I learned how to ride a bike and I loved it. So I quit track and field. And
completely? You just quit like running?
Yeah. And my dad, he's also been riding my entire life. So I kind of just picked it up when he bought me my first track bike.
So you started on the track, or did you just start riding on a track bike?
I started riding a track bike because my dad didn't want me to know how to coast.
Explain.
So he didn't want me to like coast a lot. He wanted me to know how to continuously pedal and only coast when I have to. So he bought me a track bike so that I just. And then
Is that dad chiming in?
and then he bought me a track bike so that I could just continuously pedal, and it would kind of be like muscle memory. And then a while ago, I went down to the track with my team, Cali Benefit Strategies, and it was actually a lot of fun. I think I want to try racing down there.
Was that your first time like racing or riding on a track, like a velodrome?
Yeah, I did it in 2019, I believe. That was my first time, and we went back down there a couple of months ago. It was a lot of fun.
That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, I started on track bikes essentially. Like the first bikes I had that I was commuting on after my mom's bike, which I left in the snow and then had to buy a single speed. It was a freewheel, but eventually I switched it over, so it was fixed. And so I mostly rode fixed gear bikes probably for like 6 years before I got like a road bike. And so it really helps with your pedal stroke, and it makes it super even. You can usually tell when somebody has been riding a track bike for a long time. They have pretty good form, and it helps. That's cool. I think the track is super fun. I think riding on a velodrome is really great. It's just that where I lived in New York, there weren't as many opportunities to ride. I could never make it down to T-Town, which is in Pennsylvania. And so like, even though it was mostly just park races, they had at least one every weekend. So it was like I could race a couple times a week if I did road and I did track. I would go to the velodrome in Queens every Wednesday, and then I would ride at the park races on the weekends. It's just a lot of fun. And I think they complement each other. So I strongly encourage you to do that if it's something that you think you'd be interested in.
Cool. I just think that the track is like, it's put at a disadvantage for like, especially where we live. We live in Maryland, and the closest track is in Pennsylvania. So
Is
imagine, yeah, that's the closest track.
Is that where you went?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I've never been. Not once.
But I just think that's a disadvantage for us because, say, like, we do want to pursue track, or Azyra wants to pursue track, and there's a race every weekend. You're going to have to travel 3+ hours regardless.
That's too far.
Yeah.
I mean, at least for me, I feel like that's too far. Like I think it was like 2 hours from where I was, but I didn't have a car, first of all, and I didn't have that kind of time because I also had to work. So just accessibility was definitely an issue. And like some people are really lucky they just happen to live right by a velodrome. And I think for those people, it's a lot easier to like maintain the sport, but access is like definitely a huge barrier. I wish you guys lived closer to a velodrome. I bet you'd be there all the time.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So let's talk about barriers. Maize, did you like, what have been your challenges in like pursuing this goal? I think it's important to note that you've been very public about a goal of going to is it 2028 Olympics?
Yes. So recently it got changed because 2024 I would have been 18, and Kristen Armstrong, I'm sure you're familiar with her. She works with our team, and I talked to her. She was saying that realistically, it's like you would have to be racing worldwide to go to the Olympics at 18. So she was saying that 22 would be a better age for me to go, which is 2028.
Okay. That sounds reasonable. I mean, like, how did you feel about that?
I agree with that. I mean, you can't debate with a 3-time Olympic medal. I mean, a 3-time Olympic medalist. So when she told me that, I was like, right, gold. And when she told me that, I was like, that makes sense. Like, I had no debate, and I was just like, yeah, it makes sense.
So, like, what event do you think you would want to ride? Like, what are you targeting?
I think like my short term goal as far as like big events is nationals, obviously, but after nationals, I really don't know.
I meant more so like, are you targeting specifically the road race? Do you think you'd get into time trial? Are you ever gonna maybe invest in being on the track? Because I know you're a sprinter. Like what is your Olympic dream? Like where do you see yourself crossing the finish line?
So I personally feel I haven't found it yet because I'm a sprinter, but my main thing is criteriums, and they don't have that in the Olympics.
They sure don't.
So I'm having to choose between time trial, road, or track, and I'm just like slowly eliminating. I'm like, I haven't started track yet. Time trial, I will have to increase my endurance, and then road, I will have to work on hills.
I mean, there are also like there's BMX, there's mountain bike, there's other stuff as well.
True. I just got a mountain bike recently.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you might find that you're suited for not even like that you even haven't even tried the thing that you're best suited for. Like I don't know. But I think you don't if you haven't decided yet, then there's no need to limit yourself. That's pretty cool. So what about you, Azyra? What are your goals looking like?
Well, I also would like to go to the Olympics. I want to go in 2024.
Hell yeah. Cool.
So
what are you targeting?
I want to do road.
Okay.
So, because I want to be an all-around racer. I want to be able to be good at everything.
That sounds kind of similar to what I would like. Yeah, I mean, I think I identify as a sprinter, but I've been like over the past couple of years trying to like really sharpen my tools in the other departments because I think there's a benefit to being a good all-arounder. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So what does that journey look like for you guys? Like, do you have a coach? Like, how are you preparing? I mean, it's what, 12 years? 28 years. I can do math. I can do math. I promise I can do math.
Wow.
Yeah, I deserve that. 2028. Okay. 8 years, basically 7 if we throw away, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that preparation looks like? Because I'll tell you, it flies by pretty quick.
Yeah, agreed. Because it seemed like 2016 Olympics was like a year ago. Yeah. The preparation, I mean, obviously, like as you become stronger, you're like, I need to get stronger again. Like I need to keep getting stronger because especially if you're not racing worldwide, you don't know where you are because when you go to the Olympics, you're racing worldwide. Like you're racing with people you probably never even seen before. So the preparation is getting stronger. Possibly changing your eating habits. Like I'm thinking about going pescatarian again. I was pescatarian last year, but I stopped. But I'm considering going back. But yeah.
Do you have a coach?
So last year I had a coach, but we stopped. I plan on working with her again, but I don't know. So not right now.
Okay. Cool. And what about you, Azyra? What do you think that preparation is going to look like over the next 6-7 years?
Well, I know it's going to be really, really tough because like Maize said, racing like worldwide is way different from racing down here because not a lot of people know about it down here.
Yeah.
Racing, like for example, Europe, racing is life down there. So you might go down there and get your butt kicked a couple of times before you get used to it. So you are going to have to train like a little bit harder down here. And
do you think that you'll try and go race there first? Like, do you feel like I guess I'm trying to like articulate my question. Like, do you have like a dream team that you want to be on, or like a goal of like what you want to, like, how do you see yourself gaining that level of experience so that when you go to the Olympics, it's not a complete shock that you've never seen these women before? Like, what do you?
I don't really have a dream team that I want to be on right now. I kind of just want to go pro and race in Europe and do the Latour and stuff.
That sounds really cool. Yeah. What about you, Maize?
I want to be on the same team as Azyra because that is just power right there. Like, that's a statement.
So y'all have a nickname that I've seen. Y'all want to share what it is?
Heart and soul.
Where did that come from?
So
yeah, you explain.
Yep. So we started racing together. We started racing on the same team, Get It In Cyclists. And because we were always riding together and racing together, they kind of just gave us the nickname Heart and Soul because they would say that we're the heart and soul of the team.
Aw, that's awesome. I bet you are the heart and soul, or were the heart and soul. It seems like you both have moved on to different horizons now. Maize, you're riding as a junior for the 2020 development squad, right? And then,
yes.
Azyra, you said you were with Kelly Benefit Strategies. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. So, like, what is it like not being on the same team anymore? Do you guys find that you're more or less competitive against each other than you were before? Has that changed at all? Like, do you drive each other to be better, or like, do you work together, or like, what is the dynamic?
We still work together. I think the only change is really just being on different teams. Nothing other than that has changed. Like, we still ride together, still race together. Obviously, when you're in a race, you're being competitive. I mean, you want to be first. But yeah, like, nothing's really changed. We still train together here and there because, I mean, we took our separate ways. She has a coach, and then when I do have a coach, like, it's just different, but we still ride together.
That's pretty cool. So as far as the like diversity aspect of racing, do you guys find that there are other, I guess, girls in your field or women in your field that are not white, or are y'all it? Like, how does it look where you're in the Maryland area, right? The like mid-Atlantic bike racing region. What is the dynamic down there or up there? I'm south of you.
You want to say this, Zara?
Well, there's not many of us. Like, sometimes there's a couple of them. Most of the time, it's only me and Maize. As far as the people of color that are in the race.
Okay.
And then, like, people of color who are racing with us, like, who are older. I mean, no, the people of color who race with us are typically older. Like, they're doing it as a side. Like, they don't have goals. Like, they're just doing it for fun, basically. So, I mean, I'm looking to cat up as soon as I see myself. I'm like, all right, I think I can do cat 3. But it's like, it's not competitive because a lot of adults who race with us just do it for fun, not competitively.
Gotcha. Do you wish they were more competitive, or do you find it encouraging? Like, how do y'all feel about that?
So I kind of wish the races were more competitive because, like, sometimes when me or Maize get competitive, they'll see that we're being too competitive, and then they'll like complain to us at the end of the race.
Yes, they go
People complain that you're being too competitive in a bike race?
Yes, they say it's dangerous.
Oh, no. So have you guys considered, I mean, I know you've been to nationals, but were they close to home? Have they, like, the ones that you've attended at?
They were in Maryland.
Gotcha. So have you considered trying to figure out how to race? And, like, obviously right now with the pandemic, that's not happening, but like go other places and find other people to race with?
Well, yeah, I want to travel and do races like that aren't here because I feel like those would be a lot harder. So
they will be.
Yeah, I agree with that. Especially like if you go out to California or West, period, like you have competition for real because in Maryland, we live in the plains. Like, it's just flat compared to California. They got mountains everywhere around you. So, like, if we were to go to California, they probably look at us like, you're a cyclist? Like, what? So,
Well, I mean, there's a pretty big community out there. I think they would embrace y'all and help you up as much as they
true.
could. So Maize, I know you mostly do crit racing. Is that just because that's what's available to you, or is that just because that's what you enjoy?
That's just because of what I enjoy.
Gotcha. And then Azyra, like, what kind of racing do you like?
Well, I like road races and time trials, but I mostly do crits just because that's what's available at the moment.
Right.
But I like road racing and time trials. Those are a lot of fun.
What do you like about road racing and time trials?
It's more of a challenge.
How so? Like, what makes it more challenging for you?
Well, with road racing, you're out there for a lot longer. Like crits, you're out there for maybe like 45 minutes to an hour. But with road racing, you're out there for like 30 miles or 40 miles. And it's more of a challenge because then it's a mental game. You get tired and you're like, okay, I want to stop now, but you can't.
Right. You cannot. I mean, you can, but you probably shouldn't.
Right.
Are there any road races near you? Like, have you done a lot of road races?
I've done a couple, but not many.
What is the field size like in your area? Like, how big are you racing fields? Because I know you guys have junior races, and then you also have the women's races.
You want to say it? Oh, all right. So in the junior, like in the junior field, it's usually only like the three of us. It's me, Azyra, and another girl, Alyssa Sarkisov, but she's in 13, 14 now. So she's 14, and when we're 16, she'll be 15. So we'll be in the same category again. In the women's races, like I said, just about.
Oh, geez. Okay. And then the women's races.
I would say it's a pretty decent field size. It's typically the same people. Like everyone's racing against. I mean, like we all ride together, like almost every week in the summer. So it's like, oh, are you going to this race and blah blah blah. So usually we'll all end up at the same race and we're just racing against each other. But it's usually a decent field size. It's like 30, maybe 40 people on a good day.
That's awesome. Would they let you race with the boys' fields? I assume that they have bigger fields. That's usually how it goes. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, I've done it a couple of, or maybe once.
Yeah.
How did it go?
At podium, so it went pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
I think I did it once too, but no podium for me.
Did you find that they were upset with your competitiveness?
No, I don't think so. But actually, wait, I want to tell a story. So one time, I think Azyra, she was in this race. We were racing, and you know, like on a ride, you would tell the person you're about to get over here and whatever. But in a race, it's competitive, so you want to be first in everything. Yeah. So I was racing, and I made some move. It wasn't dangerous. It wasn't to cause anybody harm or anything. And after he said something to me during the race. I wasn't focused on it. And then after the race, he came up to me while I was talking to my dad and said something. I forgot what it was, but he said something.
I'm assuming he didn't say anything nice.
No.
What did you do about it?
Laugh.
Well, that is a reaction. Good on you. Man, I wish we got to figure out how to get you guys somewhere else to race, like get you guys in some races across the country and like give you the opportunity. Like for me, that was one of the biggest barriers. It's like you racing with the same people every week. And like once you get accustomed to that, there's not a whole lot of growth that's happening. Like you can, race with the boys field because that can sometimes be more challenging, but there's nothing quite like, racing a place that you're not used to? Because even like the courses become redundant. Like, do you guys have a lot of places where the races are, or is it like the same places over and over again?
Yeah. Like, so most of the races are pretty much the same. We have a couple of different races where it's a different course, but for the most part, it's the same.
Gotcha. Okay, so let's talk about, I guess, not just like the specifics and the technicalities of bike racing itself, but like the bigger picture. Like, I know you both are like pretty, vocal advocates for things, and you guys have been kind of, making waves here and there. Maybe Azyra, you want to go first? Like, what is the bigger component of bike racing that like excites you beyond the act of doing it, like just the act of racing itself?
Well, for me, it's like relaxing. I can get all of my anger out, and the speed. I like going fast all the time. So with racing, that's like the only speed there is, which is fast. Or for the most part, like you have a couple of slow points, but for the most part, it's just fast the whole time, and that's probably my favorite part about it.
That's really cool. What about you, Maize?
I like meeting new people and traveling. Like, the traveling part and just meeting new people. For some reason, I love meeting new people. I don't know why.
Do you like talking to new people? Do you like learning about new people? Like, what do you like about meeting new people?
Yeah, I think both. I like learning about them. I like learning like their mental, like how do they race, and learning new things about cycling and racing, or what I could do to be better. It's just basically like building a circle. Like, I can reach out to that person and be like, hey, how can I improve on this? Or, hey, what do you suggest for me to do about this? Like, I like that part of it.
Okay. If you could pick any race in the country, what race do you want to do? Or maybe top 3, like that you've seen that happen. Which races are you trying to do?
Latour.
No, in America specifically.
Ride Sally Ride. I guess that's it. I don't know.
What about you, Maize?
I really don't know either, but watching the one in California, Tour de California, that was fun to watch. A lot of hills.
You know
Because
that
it's
we don't have
California.
that anymore. They got rid of it. They pulled it. As far as I know, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, the Amgen Tour of California, they canceled it last year before the pandemic even happened. I don't know if it was like a just for now or if it's like a forever type of thing. But yeah, that was our biggest race in the country, and then we lost it. It's really sad, actually.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Man, you guys gotta like do some more research. Like, look up what these races are, like what's left when we come out of this, and like pick your targets and like figure out how we're gonna get you there. Like, we gotta, like with the crit races, like I know you've seen like the USA Crit Series that like Justin and Corey do, and that would be like right up your alley, Maize. And like even with like Speed Week is not super far from you guys, down here in this like southern states. So you've got Athens, you've got there's Alabama, there's stuff in South Carolina and North Carolina, and that's less than a day's drive. Like,
that's something my back could do easy.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, there's not a whole lot of opportunity at Cat 4, but once you guys get to Cat 3, there's quite a few races that you can do on the East Coast. But even as a Cat 4, if you can get to Tour of America's Dairylands or Intelligentsia Cup, those...
I was supposed to do that one.
Oh, yeah. Those series are like 10 days long, and it's super fun. And there's like circuit races sometimes, it's mostly crits, but like just the energy and the dynamic and the experience that you gain from doing those races is pretty invaluable. And I think it would help you guys meet a lot of really cool people and give you a lot of direction on like where you are, what you need to work on. think it'd be a really cool experience. But yeah, even New York, I know Maize came up to Harlem, but did you race? I don't remember if you raced.
Yeah, I raced, but it was only 2 women. So it was me and another lady. So they just put us in a men's race.
Was that a Cat 4 field?
It was either Cat 4 or 5 or 4-5. I'm not sure.
Right.
But
5 now.
yeah, I got what's the word? Like they blew me out.
Pulled?
Yeah, pulled, right. Because I think nationals was coming up and my dad actually pulled me out because he was like he didn't want anything to happen, especially with nationals coming up.
Right. The nickname for that race is the Harlem Skin Scraper.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I've, knock on wood, never gone down in that race. And when I was a 4, it was an open field, so we got to race with the 1, 2, 3s. It's a fun race. I really like the atmosphere, but some folks do get a little rowdy. Crashes do happen.
Yep.
So good on your dad for looking out for you. Cool. I mean, I don't have a whole lot more that I specifically wanted to talk about, but this is a platform and people are watching. So if there was anything that y'all wanted to talk about, or anything that y'all wanted to say, or something that you wish people knew, I think this is a great opportunity to get that out there.
I have a question for you.
Oh boy.
So did you see that
My dog.
I forgot the
Hi.
You have a dog?
Oh yeah. I have a dog.
I forgot the name of the position, but they banned it for the UCI.
Oh, the super tuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
How do you feel about that?
I'm a little confused about why they're doing that now. I think there are a lot of safety issues that need to be addressed in pro bike racing. And I do think that amateurs doing the super tuck in a fondo is not great. But to my understanding, there hasn't been a lot of, issue with that in the pro ranks. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like maybe it's a distraction from something else, but I don't know. Either way, I think it's obviously safer if people aren't doing that, so that's fine. I just wonder if other safety things are also being addressed, or if that's just like hey, look at the thing that we're doing. Making it safer by eliminating something that wasn't really affecting anybody.
Right.
I think a lot of pros do use that as an advantage on the descents to keep a breakaway or whatever it is, and it seemed to be effective for them. I personally am not a huge fan of the super tuck. I do try to get as aero as possible, but the top tube sitting thing has never been my specific jam. But I also, like to play it safer than a lot of folks. And
True.
that's fine. Like some people do it, some people don't, and it's a preference, and I just choose not to. But I have never had a problem with pros who do it. I don't like when amateur folks do it in like mixed company, because even if you feel super confident, you hit one bump, you go down, you take out a whole bunch of people who did not sign up for that.
Yep, I agree with that. Like USA Cycling banning it, understandable, but I feel like UCI, that was a stretch because like you said, there's nothing major that has happened from it, and it's effective. But
I take it you're a big fan of the super tuck?
Yes, I use it every chance I get.
That works. What about you, Azyra? What are your thoughts on them banning the super tuck?
Like, it's understandable, but I still question it sometimes because whenever I see them do it on TV, it always looks like they know what they're doing.
Right.
And they never do it, like put themselves in a situation where they would go down. So, like, it's understandable for some people, but I still question it sometimes.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I feel the same. It's just like, I think maybe forbidding it at like the amateur level. Not that the UCI has control over that, but like individual race organizers, like, you know, we're not doing that here. It's not safe. Please be considerate of other riders. But I mean, who's going to listen to that? It sets an example. Maybe if people don't see the pros doing it, then they'll be less likely to do it and hurt themselves, is kind of the only
Maybe.
argument. But even that feels kind of like a stretch. Emoji. Oh my goodness. Cool. Any other questions while you got me?
Nope.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me on a Friday night, and I really appreciate it. And I'll let you guys go. I'm definitely going to be in touch because it sounds like you guys have been racing in a bubble. And we got to get you out of that as soon as it's safe to go somewhere. I'm working on a mini grant program so I can get some Black women to tour America's Dairylands. So maybe y'all can be part of that if it's safe and all right with your parents. That'd be really awesome to see you guys out there racing.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. All right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.